And welcome in to a Monday doubleheader here at Cox Mill High School between the Uwharrie Wampus Cats and the Lake Norman Copperheads. We're here live. I'm Gunter Schroeder, joined by Zane Metz on color for this first game of this doubleheader. And Zane, a big game here at the start of the week for these home Copperheads. Are looking to get back in the win column after what was a pretty tough week last week. A lot of games come down in the wire, but really weren't able to get much out of last week.
Yeah, I mean, that's the number one thing they're going to be looking, going back to that last week is games that they got close in and just couldn't, figure out how to finish them off. And, good chance, a little 2-for-1 action tonight here, and Copperheads get back on track and look to roll going into the All-Star break that comes next week.
And we'll see if we can start it off with a win here in the first game of the doubleheader. It'll be Josh Jones on the mound, who's been excellent, especially in his last relief start against the Corn Dogs. Fired 3 hitless and scoreless innings for that 2-1 win and shut down the Corn Dogs' potent offense in those final 3 frames. Now back on the mound to face this Wampus Cats lineup. Have come all the way from Albemarle to make the trip here. And he'll have a tough matchup against Sawyer Smith, who won the SCBL Pitcher of the Week last week. Zane, this will certainly be a tough test in this first game of the doubleheader.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Smith was absolutely dealing against the Queen City Corn Dogs. I mean, just couldn't ask more of them. Only allowed 1 hit in that start. And be looking to keep it going against a Copperheads order that really started hot on the season, but as of late has really cooled off.
As we'll start it off with Ick Serino, the center fielder for the Wampus Cats, who will be in to start things off. Serino, a local product from Harrisburg, North Carolina, and currently playing at Coker College.
Yeah, Serino, kind of a homecoming of sorts. Didn't play at Cox Mill, but at nearby Hickory Ridge, a conference foe of the Chargers.
Went 2 for 2 in his last game against the Spinners, as this one's driven to center field, but right at Connor Welker, who makes a nice sliding play. And 1 down here in the top of the first inning will bring up Brendan Fulcher.
Now batting number 13, Brendan Fulcher.
Yeah, as we see Welker on his toes for the first, pitch of the evening, how to come in. Good read on the little blooper, and 1 pitch, 1 out.
And certainly Copperheads will be hoping that is a sign of good things to come on the defensive side, where they've been pretty decent. Just need to pick up the hitting maybe a little bit coming into this game, and it'll be tough, especially against Sawyer Smith, who will be out for the bottom of that first inning. But for now, the Copperheads will look to keep things scoreless as Fulcher steps in for his first at-bat, swings at the first pitch, and fouls it off. As Fulcher, a freshman from Oakboro, North Carolina, attending nearby Gaston College. Behind 0-1 here to Jones, and takes a fastball upstairs.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, I feel like this is a big doubleheader for. Obviously you have the Copperheads, losing their last 6 games, coming into this game 4-8 while starting 2-0. And the Wampus Cats were a new addition to the SCBL this season. And kind of people expected more out of them coming into the league. I mean, they were a really good independent team around the area. But ever since they've joined the league, at least this season so far, they've really struggled, sort of an under 500 record.
In a battle for some big momentum, here's the 1-2, and that's in the dirt. A good block by Spillman to keep it at a 2-2 count for Josh Jones, who is another one of these two-way players for the Copperheads, currently attending North Greenville University. Looking for a good start here today. The 2-2 swung on and foul. Just down the line for Brendan Fulcher.
Yeah, I mean, kind of surprising. Fulcher batting .214, only 14 at-bats, but, batting that 2-hole tonight for the Wampus Cats, is you have to imagine there'll be a lot of switching between the first game and the second game of this doubleheader tonight.
Fulcher will be attending Gaston College for his freshman season in the fall, as this one is upstairs for ball 3. So certainly a guy that you trust, even though he is only 18 years old. He's played a big role so far at the top of this lineup for the Wampus Cats, and he's starting at shortstop. So certainly has the tools to make a big impact for this Wampus Cats team. The 3-2 is swung on in a fly ball towards Welker once again. He camps under it, and he makes the catch. 2 down here as Taj Bates, the DH, will bat next.
Yeah, and kind of touching back on Fulcher, Gunnar, I feel like that's one of the most interesting things to watch in the league, especially early season, is guys that are coming from high school now making to that jump to, playing some college competition. I mean, we see it with the Copperheads, with Aiden Kwan, and just see how guys having to adapt, especially with moving from metal bats to wood bats as well in the summer.
Yeah, some guys have adapted very quickly, but for a lot of these players, it is a more tough transition, as you may see. Some more low-scoring games than you're maybe used to at this sort of level of summer ball. As that first pitch is a ball to Taj Bates. He takes ball 2 there. Jones missing up for the most part so far.
Yeah, and Bates is a guy I really like. I mean, first season with the Wampus Cats, last year was with the Concord A's, and was maybe the best hitter for that A's team last season. That kind of struggled, but heated on late up in the SCBL tournament, and now Bates switching sides and going with the Wampus Cats this summer.
As Bates currently attending Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, part of the SWAC conference. The junior from Columbia, South Carolina, coming up to North Carolina to return to the SCBL after a successful campaign. The 3-1 from Jones is outside, and that's a ball 4 for Taj Bates, who's aboard. 2 down here in the top of the first will bring up Nick Morris to see if he can extend the inning.
Yeah, and Morris in that 4-hole for a reason, sporting that .417 average on 14 at-bats. And 5 RBIs on the season, but no extra base hits so far.
As you see with maybe some of these guys adjusting to wood bats, it is a bit of a tough transition, especially considering the power that you have to really swing a wood bat in comparison to some of these metal bats that they use very often in college.
Yeah, and I feel like that results in a lot of these games when you see those comebacks. It's mostly, every guy doing a little bit singles and walks at a time, not just a big hit, really, changing the tides for a team.
As Jones's pitch there is low, but a good swing and a miss he gets there from Morris, the sophomore from Matthews, North Carolina, in the Charlotte metropolitan area. Looking to get things started for the Wampus Cats here in the top of the first inning. Lays off of that pitch low. Morris looking for his 6th hit on the season to build some momentum here in game 1 of this doubleheader, as this one's popped up on the infield. Calling for it and making the catch. And it looks like it is an infield fly rule called by the umpires, as Will Gray lets that one fall to the dirt, but it does not matter. Nick Morris will be out on the rule, and that is the end of the top of the first inning. Still a scoreless game as we head to the bottom of the first here at Cox Mill. Back for the bottom of the first inning here at Cox Mill High School. The Copperheads looking to get on the board first to game one of this doubleheader contest between the Wampus Cats and the Copperheads. This is now the Copperheads' third game so far in the last 3 days after a doubleheader contest up at Wake Forest, playing the Carolina Disco Turkeys over the weekend. Dropped both of those games in that doubleheader. A valiant comeback, fell short in game one, and great pitching for the Disco Turkeys in game two. Gave them 2 wins out of 2, as now it'll be another doubleheader between another opponent and the Wampus Cats. And Sawyer Smith has been excellent so far, as in fact won the SCBL Pitcher of the Week award last week, so certainly will be a tough contest here for the Copperheads, as Luis Morales will lead things off. 1-1 takes it low.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing tonight for the Copperheads, is with a great pitcher on the mound, the Copperheads have left things late in the game to try to figure things out, and they've rallied sometimes, but with the 7-inning game we have here tonight with the doubleheader, you don't have as much time, not as many outs to figure things out.
As this one's popped out of play by Morales, who's picked up 14 hits on the season already. Quite impressive. And ranks among the league leaders in batting average. As this 2-2 from Smith hits Morales, so will be a hit by pitch to lead things off for the Copperheads and bring up Parker Staborski.
Now batting number 20, Parker Staborski.
As next for the Copperheads is Staborski.
Yeah, Staborski only with the 1 hit on the season, hitting 143, but obviously with the trust in his manager batting in that 2-hole tonight, and Morales has been a guy that gets on base in any way possible, standing on first base now, and after being hit by a pitch, over a .460 on base percentage.
Done a great job to get on base any way possible and put some pressure here on Sawyer Smith early, as Staborski, a late addition to this Copperheads team, joined the team after a few games, but has started quite a few of them.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do, especially against a great pitcher on the bump, is you have to get on him early, rattle him, see what, if Morales can get on it in his head over there at first base, and just try to get ahead before you fall behind later in the game.
2 on the way from Smith is low for ball 3, and Staborski quickly works ahead. And a chance to get 2 on and no out here in the bottom of this first inning. And as we said before, the Copperheads looking for some much-needed momentum, but so are the Wampus Cats, as this one's upstairs for ball 4. Both of these teams looking to get back into the contest and the playoff picture as we get towards this All-Star break.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just the big thing, is gaining that momentum when you get close to that All-Star break. Have some time to relax, hang out with family and friends, and then just really hit the month of July really hard before that, end-of-season tournament comes around the July 20th.
As now Isaac Armstrong up, likely the most dangerous hitter in terms of do-it-all ability in this lineup, and will be hitting third, playing third base for the Copperheads in this first game of the doubleheader, in a great spot to make a big impact early as he fouls this one down the third base line, but foul.
Yeah, I mean, Armstrong, he's sporting that .269 average, which is very good, but the thing that really stands out to me, 7 hits on the season, and 4 of those being an extra base hit with 1 homer. As, Armstrong kind of really a big 5-tool guy for the Copperheads so far this season, getting things done on both sides of the ball, and batting in the 3-hole tonight.
But behind 0-2 here to Sawyer Smith. This pitch is just outside, went to the off-speed there. Armstrong holds off, though. He stays alive in this count. It'll be Cale Ayler due up next, as the Copperheads threatening here in the bottom of the first. Morales steps off first. The pitch is inside once again, as Armstrong has only walked twice so far, but has been aggressive in the box, which is what you want from a guy hitting in the heart of your lineup. As Smith steps off, Morales retreats to second. Unable to get a hit recorded in that game against the Disco Turkeys on Saturday, and this time he's rung up on the outside corner A good off speed from Sawyer Smith gets a big first out and brings up Cale Ayler. Still 2 on here and 1 out for the Copperheads first baseman.
Yeah, and that's something we're going to have to look at going into the rest of the game. We saw the 0-2 pitch right there from Smith on the bump. He went with the outside slider, then just tucked that one into the strike zone against Armstrong for the first out of the inning. And that brings Ayler, a guy that started off the season really hot. I mean, hit a go-ahead single to win the second game of the season for the Copperheads. Now just come into this game, 167, which is very unlike Ayler, a guy that was absolutely raking in college for Brevard. And talking to him pregame, went to the beach, kind of had some relaxation and hoping to turn things around here, kind of a mental reset for Ayler.
Yeah, and already more potential base traffic than Sawyer Smith may have seen all of the last game he pitched against the Corn Dogs, as that one is a great off-speed that sort of the backdoor slider that catches the outside corner. So now a 1-1 count, 1 down here for Ayler as he puts this one in play but foul. As Smith, we saw, can be so dangerous on the bump. 7 innings against the Corn Dogs in a 10-0 shutout win last Monday. 1 hit, 3 walks, and 11 sat down via strikeout. So has the stuff to overpower hitters, but the Copperheads have done a good job at being patient so far. 1-2 to Ayler outside, went to the off-speed, did not get the chase. And if he can put one into play, we've seen Luis Morales has the base running ability to potentially score the first run of the game. Ayler looking for his 4th hit on the season. 2-2 upstairs.
Yeah, we see Smith miss with the slider right there, but you have to imagine he goes back to him. I mean, that's been the money pitch so far tonight for him on the bump. And Ayler, not too great with the slider, more of a fastball hitter.
We'll see if he can make the necessary adjustment here. The payoff pitch on the way from Smith. Swing and a miss, he did go to the slider. A beautiful one that cuts far into the inside part of the plate, and a big second out. After the first 2 get on, 2 sat down via strikeout for Sawyer Smith. Now brings up the pitcher/DH, Josh Jones.
Yeah, beautiful slider right there. I mean, you know, missed with the slider high the first time, then ran it in on the hands on him, and not much Ayler could do when, you know, it's already on the hands on you.
First pitch to Jones, popped up foul territory over towards the first base side, giving chase and just missing it is Nick Morris, who made a diving effort to corral that ball, but it bounces just out of reach.
Morris definitely not short on effort on that one. I mean, he was sprinting to that ball, but just over his head.
As after keeping the Wampus Cats scoreless in this top of the first, it'll now be Josh Jones's turn to potentially drive in the first run of the game and give himself some run support. Has split time between pitching, DHing, and right field as this one's driven in the air towards left field. But Chantry will be under it, and he has room for the 3rd out. After 2 runners get on, Sawyer Smith rebounds for 3 straight retirements, and we head to the 2nd inning. Still a 0-0 ball game here. Back here for the top of the second inning. Josh Jones gets back to work. Allowed a first inning walk to Jay Bates, but still kept the Wampus Cats off the board. And now Bryson Beber, the extra hitter, in for the Wampus Cats. Puts this one in play, a mile-high pop-up. Will Gray will make the catch in the shallow outfield. And Bryson Beber, 1 pitch and 1 out here for Josh Jones in this top of the second inning. The Wampus Cats have been putting it in play, but have not found outfield grass quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's back-to-back innings now that the leadoff guy in the inning was first pitch swinging against Josh Jones. Obviously, the Wampus Cats coming out here with something to prove and trying to jump on that fastball from Jones early.
As now Aiden Wilson, the sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, currently attending St. Andrew's Presbyterian. A chance at his 9th hit of the season. Takes a first pitch low from Jones. 8 for 27 on the season. His best performance coming against the Corn Dogs back on June 2nd, a 3 for 5 night. And reached base via hit for his first 5 games of the season as he takes a strike there from Josh Jones.
I mean, Wilson, one of the better hitters so far this season for the Wampus Cats, that averaged just shy of 300 on a large sample size, 27 ABs.
This 1-1 lined into left field and a base hit for Wilson. So a good start with 1 out here for the Wampus Cats. Aiden Wilson, maybe a little bit out in front of that one, but got enough of the barrel and drove it perfectly between Isaac Armstrong and Will Gray on the left side of the infield.
Yeah, I mean, you know, not the best barrel right there, but a hit's a hit anyway you get on base and just keeps the rotation moving for Uwharrie.
Now Reese Crump, the catcher. First pitch swinging at that one. A good pitch by Josh Jones. Gets ahead 0-1.
Yeah, and Crump, not a guy with not a lot of experience so far this summer, only with 6 at-bats and the 1 hit on the season.
We'll see if he can make an impact here. 0-1 fouled off. Out of play, it will land just shy of the Cox Mill softball field to our right. Now Josh Jones in a good spot for a big second out. Quickly ahead 0-2 here of the catcher Crump. This pitch is fouled off. The runner will go to second, but it appears it was a strikeout. Reese Crump not able to get a piece of that one. So Josh Jones does get the runner. But Aiden Wilson does advance to second on that pass ball. So now Kip Thornton, the third baseman, a chance to drive in a run in scoring position here. Aiden Wilson standing at second.
Yeah, Thornton with the only 1 RBI so far on the season, but good chance to make it 2 right here.
A good first pitch strike here from Josh Jones, a fastball right down Broadway.
And that's what Jones has been leading on so far tonight, is getting ahead of count, especially with that first pitch fastball, and just kind of going with there, working with a good pace on the bump.
The 0-1 is low. Thornton possesses the sort of size you'd want in an average outfielder and the range, too. A junior from Midland, North Carolina, currently attending Erskine College. In a 1-1 here against Josh Jones, takes a pitch low.
Erskine with one of the better mascots in all of college baseball, or kind of college sports in general, in my opinion, the Flying Fleet.
We'll see if Thornton can put a ball into flight here. A 2-1 is inside corner for a strike. And that one looked like it kind of tailed in. Maybe
Yeah.
fooled Kip Thornton a little bit there.
Some good two-seam action on that fastball for sure.
Now a 2-2 count here in the top of the second. The pitch on the ground and through. And it looks like there was a miscommunication here for the Copperheads. Aiden Wilson also a little bit confused there.
Yeah, I believe maybe someone tried to call time. And
It looks like maybe it will be a live ball regardless.
kind of a lackadaisical swing right there from Thornton, just poking the bat out and gets a single.
So after the confusion there, the umpires do rule it a base hit. It does not mean Aiden Wilson is able to score from second on that play, so now it'll be runners at the corners. Wilson advances to third on a single by Kip Thornton to bring up Jackson Deal. Jones looking to work around two hits here in the top of the second as Jackson Deal, the right fielder, takes a first pitch ball from Jones, the junior from China Grove, North Carolina, as this one's in the air towards left field, but coming over and making the catch is Staborski for out number 3. Josh Jones works around the 2 hits, and he keeps it scoreless heading to the bottom of the second. Still a scoreless game. And back for the bottom of the second inning. Copperheads looking to get something going here against Sawyer Smith. And it'll start with Gray. Has played all around the infield, but now will be the starting shortstop. Moves from around the 2-hole or 3-hole down to 6th in the lineup for the first game against this Wampus Cats team. Smith's first pitch on the way is outside for a ball.
Yeah, and Gray having a really good summer. I mean, started out kind of cold, but now sporting that 375 average on 24 at-bats, and the only guy on the team with a triple so far this season.
1-0 also outside, and he's sported some good plate discipline as well. And getting on base is the first step here. This one's on the ground, but sharply grounded off the glove of the shortstop Fulcher. So Will Gray aboard on a fielding error here. Shortstop to shortstop, but Fulcher unable to corral it, and Will Gray will be aboard to start this second inning. Caden Haywood up next.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a hard-hit ball right there from Gray, but right at the shortstop. Couldn't make the play, and leadoff guy for the second time tonight for the Copperheads.
Gray had a good game up in Winston-Salem on Saturday. The one game he played against the Disco Turkeys, went 2 for 4 in that one. Gets on base his first time up here, even if it maybe is on a error. And now it'll bring up Caden Haywood, the right fielder, currently playing at Western Carolina, as this pitch is on the outside corner. A good fastball there from Sawyer Smith to rebound. And Haywood, one of the bigger outfielders you're seeing in the league at 6'5", 235. Ahead 1-0 here of Sawyer Smith. Pitch on the way as the runner breaks for second. This one in the air towards right field. So running back will be Gray, and making the catch, sprawling out for it, is Jackson Deal. A diving play to rob Caden Haywood. And what a play there, the full extension for the out.
Yeah, I mean, great play from Deal right there. Didn't get the best read on it, didn't get the best jump, and that ball hanging in the sky for a country mile. And just gets over there in the shallow right field for out number 1.
Now Connor Welker, the center fielder, a Cox Mill product, hitting 8th in this Copperheads lineup, and you see quite a few guys from this area coming back and playing for the hometown Copperheads, looking to make an impact. Currently Connor Welker, a member of Pfeiffer University, nearby Charlotte metropolitan area.
Welker with the 111 average with the 1 hit so far this season, but still that small sample size with 9 ABs, just waiting to get hot. And, the Copperheads bats in general starting off the season really good, getting cold as of late. But, one thing we've learned this season and just kind of summer ball in general, Gunner, is anything can happen on any night.
Yes, we have had some issues with our stat keeping over the season so far. It looks like Welker has picked up a hit in 3 of the games he's played thus far as a primary center fielder, as this ball's driven out of play in a 1-2 count. And Sawyer Smith doing a good job after some early base traffic in both of these innings.
Yeah, I mean, they'll test you early in an outing right there. It's just, a guy allowing the, leadoff guy on for back-to-back innings and having a battle around that and just get out of the inning any way possible.
1-2 from Smith, way inside. Welker has been playing all over the field for this Copperheads team. Now the 2-2 from Smith is outside. Good job to stay off of that off speed from Sawyer Smith does Welker, and the count runs full here. Will Gray stands on first after reaching on an error. 1 down here in the bottom of the second, and still a 0-0 game. We'll see if Welker can change that with this. Instead, the ball goes back to first. Gray back safely on the slide. Payoff pitch from Smith is inside, ball 4. A beautiful break on that ball, but didn't get the swing from Welker. And now 2 aboard for Lazaro Santos, the EH.
That is a tough ball to lay off on, especially in a 2-strike count, but Welker with the stone cold take brings up Santos.
Lazaro Santos, a freshman, as he drives this ball towards left field. It will drop fair. Here comes Will Gray around third. He will score. The throw will go to third in time to get Connor Welker. Lazaro Santos, a little fly ball that lands just in the sweet spot of left field. He drives in a run, and despite Connor Welker being tagged out at third stretching, it's a stand-up double for Santos, and the Copperheads strike first here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, Santos put that one into no man's land, and sometimes that can be the most dangerous thing for an outfield, as Welker's trying to push his luck, get third base. But Copperheads' first run of the evening get on the board here.
As now the 3rd straight game, Santos has recorded a hit. And now it'll be Cody Spillman, the catcher. 2 down here and a man on second now. As the 1-0 to Spillman misses. And now it'll be the second pitch. See if Sawyer Smith, who's just allowed his first earned run of the season, gets back to business with that slider.
I mean, not shabby going through your first 8 innings of the season, allowing your first earned run in a very particular way right there.
Now the 1-1. Spillman lays off of it, but it does catch the outside corner. And now a 1-2 count here to Spillman, the Copperheads catcher, playing at Lewisburg College. Is the 5'11", 185 freshman playing behind the dish tonight in this first game of the doubleheader. The 1-2 on the way is outside. Looks like Sawyer Smith went back to that off speed, didn't catch the outside corner like he was hoping for. Now a 2-2 count to Cody Spillman. This one outside. And now the count runs full once again. We'll see if Smith can put away Cody Spillman and limit the Copperheads to just 1 run in this bottom of the second, scored on a Lazaro Santos double. Smith checks back to second, and he'll step off here.
Yeah, Smith, 2 pitches on the outside part of the plate back-to-back now. Does he go out for a third or try to jam him inside here? As the slider so far tonight has been his 2-strike pitch.
And this one is upstairs for ball 4. So Cody Spillman aboard with 2 outs. And back to the top of the lineup for Luis Morales. maybe one of the best guys to have up in this spot. He's been such a good hitter for average this season. Despite the lack of extra base hits, he's found a way to get on base in any way possible, and currently sporting near a 500 batting average on the season.
Yeah, I mean, you only have one extra base hit on the season, but it doesn't matter when that OBP is around 500, as long as you're getting on base, especially as the leadoff guy.
When only combined 1 for 7, though, in the doubleheader against the Disco Turkeys. Takes a first pitch ball, though, here from Sawyer Smith.
And I almost feel like that shows how good of a hitter he is over the season. He goes 1 for 7 in a doubleheader and still has an average that high this season.
Now the 1-0. Lays off of that one. Does Morales, who has 13 hits on the season, just one of them an extra base hit. But done a great job at moving guys over at the top of this lineup and getting in position to score. Has already scored 7 times on the season. And ahead 3-0 here of Sawyer Smith. This one swung on out of play. Morales from San Juan, Puerto Rico, making the journey to Sterling College in Kansas before coming back to the SCBL for the second year after spending time with the Regulators last season. And he takes a 5-pitch walk, loads the bases back up, reaches base for the second time today. That'll bring up Parker Staborski with the bases loaded here and 2 outs. And now the question is, can the Copperheads take advantage of this offensive momentum they've built?
Yeah, I mean, that's been their kryptonite so far this season is runners left on base. And a lot of games when, you look back and you see that runners on base stat. And when you have, double-digit guys, people left on base, that's going to be like, one of the things that you're looking back at the game and saying, if we can improve on that, we can really move forward and turn a lot of these losses into wins.
Staworski picking up his first hit of the season in the first game of the doubleheader against the Disco Turkeys. Featured in both of those games. Went 1 for 5 on that particular night up in Winston-Salem 2 days ago. Now back in the lineup looking for hit number 2, which would be a big one if he's able to get it into the outfield grass somewhere, or just get on base in any way with the bases loaded now. Sawyer Smith in a tough spot here, behind 2-1 and still 2 outs though. This one on the outside corner, a good frame job there from Reese Crump. Evens the count at 2-2, and now Staborski will look to put something in play here and stretch the Copperheads' lead. Instead, it's outside for ball 3. Now we'll see what Sawyer Smith does in a 3-2. Payoff pitch as the runners go. He did go around for strike 3. And a big final out gets Parker Staborski and Sawyer Smith out of the jam. Just 1 run allowed here in the bottom of the second, but the Copperheads take the lead as we head into the third inning. A 1-0 lead for the home side. Back for this top of the third inning, the Wampus Cats looking to tie this game back up after the Copperheads got on the board first via Lazaro Santos RBI double. And a first pitch strike here from Josh Jones to the left fielder Luke Chantry. The sophomore from Mint Hill, North Carolina. Currently playing also at Cleveland Community College, as we see a lot of these players making that choice to continue their collegiate careers from the Charlotte area. 1 for 6 in 3 games so far this season for the left fielder as he drives this one towards left field. But having room and making the catch is Staborski. A nice swing there from Chantry goes unrewarded. And a line out gets things started for Josh Jones as Ixarino back up the top of the order for the Wampus Cats. Brendan Fulcher due up next after Serino, the center fielder for the Wampus Cats. Serino, one of the vets on this team, a senior from Coker College in the area. Flied out his first time up. Takes a first pitch strike here from Josh Jones, who we've seen be effective in a reliever role, but he's done a pretty good job out of the starter role here tonight as well.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that's going to be interesting to look at, now going through the lineup for the second time tonight, I mean, Jones only with 1 strikeout on the evening. These Wampus Cats hitters have been putting the ball in play. Second time through the order, let's see if they see Jones a little bit better now.
1-1 count here to Serino. This one swung on in the air. Once again, though, towards left field. Staborski camps under it. And 2 balls his way. Both result in outs. As Jones doing a good job to limit the powerful swings for the Wampus Cats so far. And so far only allowing 2 singles and a walk through 2 2/3 innings of work.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these Wampus Cats hitters putting the ball in the sky. Not a lot of balls on the ground as the outfield getting some fly ball practice tonight.
Now it'll be Brendan Fulcher, the shortstop. As his fielding error in the bottom of the second. The runner scored was Will Gray, who got on base via that error. So we'll see if Fulcher can respond here offensively. A 1-1 count here to the Wampus Cats shortstop, who've gone for more of the old San Diego Padres look with their uniforms. The brown and yellow sleeves and the yellow batting helmet for Brendan Fulcher. Ahead 2-1 here against Josh Jones. 2-1 on the way from the righty. Gets a swing and a miss. That one buried perfectly for the off speed. And Fulcher looking for his 4th hit of the season.
I mean, Fulcher was in a 2-1 hitters count right there, obviously going up swinging, but Jones turns the table on him with the off-speed stuff in the dirt.
2-2 on the way, swing and a miss, and Josh Jones has his 2nd strikeout and the 3rd out of the 3rd inning. Great stuff from him so far. We'll head back to Cox Mill in a moment for the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Copperheads hold a 1-0 lead here. Back for the bottom of the third inning and back to the top and the heart of the Copperheads lineup with Isaac Armstrong. Struck out looking his first time up against Sawyer Smith, who's back out for his third inning of work. A good off speed here to Armstrong, the third baseman, who we've seen have the power. Has a home run, as not many Copperheads hitters can say so far, as they've scored most of their runs on just rallies of base hitting and done a good job in that department.
And I mean,
one to lead things off. This one in the air towards left field on a line and over the glove of Chantry. Going for second is Armstrong. He'll get there standing, and a nice piece of hitting down the line for the Copperheads third baseman. Puts them in a good spot here with Cale Ayler coming back up.
Kind of a reverse announcer's jinx. Normally when you're saying how good they've been so far this season, they don't do well, but Armstrong with a double down the line, a ground rule double at that. And 3 innings, now 3 straight innings that a leadoff batter has gotten on for Lake Norman.
And already the 6th extra base hit of the season for Isaac Armstrong, as that's now number 9 overall on the season for him. Stands in scoring position for Cale Ayler. And as you mentioned, made his last appearance for this Copperheads team back on June 11th against the Corn Dogs. Took some time off and back now for the run into the All-Star break and the Summer Showcase, a chance to show off his skills a little bit here, in a good spot to do so with Sawyer Smith working around once again some more base traffic. The 0-2 to Ayler, swing and a miss, and he got him. A good off speed, got him to chase for the second time, and one away here for Josh Jones, who flied out his first time up. And now another chance with runners in scoring position to extend the lead for himself on the mound.
Yeah, and I mean, these runs early in the game are going to be crucial, especially for the Copperheads. I feel like kind of how well both of these pitchers have done on the bump, not only tonight, but so far this season. We have a pitching duel kind of coming on the way, but Smith has had some troubles allowing that first base runner on in the inning and had to kind of work out of some jams so far tonight.
Jones, 6 hits on the season so far, and this one runs inside. And as we mentioned, with quite a few of these players, Jones, another international product from Blainville, Quebec, traveled down to South Carolina to play at North Greenville University, one of the best Division II programs in the nation, as this one's driven to center field over the head of the center fielder, Ixarino. Running around third is Armstrong. The throw home will be in time on the tag. And despite the double from Josh Jones, a nice cutoff throw home from Fulcher in time to get Isaac Armstrong sliding. 2 down here for Will Gray. But despite that, Josh Jones putting a nice swing on that ball right to straightaway center and nearly left the yard.
Yeah, I mean, that ball from Jones just kept carrying, and carrying looked like it was going to be an easy pop fly for the Wampus Cats center fielder, but that one was almost gone. If that ball's pulled, it's a 2-run homer for Jones.
As he hit his first home run of the season up in Winston-Salem, did Josh Jones in the first game of that doubleheader. As the Copperheads had 6 runs in the top of the 6th, despite it not being enough, Josh Jones put a good swing on the ball to end off that rally. A home run on a college field, nonetheless, down the left field line at Wake Forest's Couch Park, home of the Disco Turkeys, one of the best venues the SCBL has to offer. It's now a 1-1 count to Will Gray. Sawyer Smith does allow a second extra base hit in the inning, but some good defensive play means he now has 2 outs. Behind 2-1 here to Will Gray, who reached on the error and scored the only run of the game so far for this Copperheads team.
So that's not a bad thing to put on your resume if you're Josh Jones. Hit a homer at Wake Forest's field. You know, I think that not a lot of guys get an opportunity to do.
2-1 from Smith. Held off on by Gray, but it catches the outside corner, and now the count 2-2. Despite the Copperheads putting the ball in play frequently, the Wampus Cats finding ways to keep it close here in these early games and early innings. 2-2 on the way. In there for strike 3. Caught the upstairs corner. Will Gray down on strikes, and so are the Copperheads in the 3rd inning. And despite 2 extra base hits, unable to score a second run, we head to the top of the 4th inning. Still a 1-0 lead, though, for the Copperheads in this game 1 of the doubleheader.
Now batting number 35, Taj Bates.
Back for the top of the 4th inning in this game 1. And Josh Jones, after hitting a double in that last inning, back to work with a 1-0 lead here. And a good first pitch just misses inside to Taj Bates, as you mentioned. Had a great season for the Concord A's, but switching allegiances here a little bit at joining the brand new Wampus Cats in their first season in the SCBL. Just their 2nd year in existence, as this one's driven way down the left field line, but foul by Taj Bates. Just missed what could have been potentially his first homer of the season.
I mean, not too far off. Early on the fastball right there, so was obviously waiting for it. We'll see if Jones goes back with a fastball or switches up with the off speed here.
0-1 is low. We'll see if Bates can put it back in play here against Josh Jones. 1-1 on the way. Misses the outside corner. Now the 3-1 on the way. Just misses for ball 4. And Taj Bates, despite nearly hitting a home run down the left field line, does draw a walk. And he'll lead things off by getting on base for this Wampus Cats team in the top of the 4th. Josh Jones has worked around these early batters before, though. Allowed 3 base runners so far. His 2nd walk of the day, and 4th now in total base runner to reach after the first 3. Taj Bates reaching on 2 walks, Aiden Wilson a single, and Kip Thornton a single. It'll be Nick Morris, the first baseman, as he drives this one into left field for a base hit. So 2 runners on to start this top of the 4th. The Wampus Cats threatening. Taj Bates will stop at 2nd, but it's a single for Morris. And now Bryson Beber, the EH, a chance
Now batting number 23,
to
Bryson
break things
Beber.
open in this top of the 4th.
Yeah, that may what the Wampus Cats, just what they need so far tonight. I mean, struggling on the offensive side of things, something that we haven't seen so much out of them as of late. As Jones starting to look a little bit shaky on the bump as the game and the fatigue goes along.
As Bryson Beber, 7 for 24 on the season so far. Had a good game in his last appearance against the Spinners, 2 for 4, both of the hits being doubles. Behind 0-1 here to Jones, who goes to the Curveball there. Misses upstairs. Hitting .292 on the season is Beber. 7 for 24, and an 8th hit here would be massive for the Wampus Cats' chances to take game 1 of this doubleheader. Puts it on the ground through the right side, and here comes Bates around third. He'll stop there. But 3 straight runners reaching base in a row. A walk and 2 singles will load the bases for the second baseman, Aiden Wilson. Still nobody out here in the top of the 4th, and a great chance for this Wampus Cats team to take advantage.
Yeah, and surprised we don't see a mound visit here, as with bases loaded, no outs in the inning, as the Wampus Cats a great chance to take a lead and kind of run with this ball game. You know, we've mentioned earlier in the broadcast that that's one of the Copperheads, you know, things that have been tough late into ball games is that pitching depth and having guys come out of the bullpen and finish out games, and it might be kind of another tell here.
First pitch on the way to Wilson. A good block there from Spillman. As we've seen many times, a wild pitch can score runs here in this league, and if you can keep it in front of you, you've got a great chance. It's now the 1-0 to Wilson. Upstairs, we've already seen Wilson get on base with what was a clean single to the left side, so we'll see if he has the pull to get it through. 2-0 on the way, swung on, fouled back to the screen. A turning point here in the top of the 4th. Wampus Cats still trailing 1-0, but a chance to get on the board here. 2-1 swung on. Fly ball towards the third base side. Over is Armstrong. He makes the catch. No advancement. And a big first out there in foul territory. Retires Aiden Wilson. And now a double play could end the inning with Reese Crump up to bat. Struck out his first time up. And for Josh Jones, that's a big turning point. Now a chance to get out of it potentially unscathed if your defense can do the job.
And I mean, you can't ask for much more right there. An infield fly and no runners advance, and you keep on moving.
As this first pitch in the dirt to Crump. Crump, also a senior from Norwood, North Carolina, attending Catawba College. As he drives this one deep towards center field. Back on the track and making the catch is Welker, but tagging and scoring will be Taj Bates, and it is a tie game here at Cox Mill. A sac fly from Reese Crump does the job. Now 1-1 here in the game 1 of the doubleheader. The Wampus Cats do find a way to finally get on the board. A good piece of hitting right there, unless Kip Thornton can extend the lead, though. It's a tie ball game.
Yeah, and I mean, a great barrel right there in a deep center field, as Welker had no chance to get Bates at home.
This one fouled out of play by Kip Thornton, who singled his first time up at third base. Could have potentially had an RBI as well if there wasn't some confusion on the base paths. Back in that second inning. Now Jones goes back, and Beber back safely at first. Runners at the corners and 2 away now. But a 1-1 game after a sac fly from Reese Crump brings home Taj Bates. Jones looking to limit the damage. The 0-1 in there for a strike. A good pitch right down the middle. Freezes Kip Thornton. (0-2) from Jones. Popped up. We'll see if Ayler has room on the first base side. He does. And a nice play right up against the fence down the first base line. Retires the side, but the Wampus Cats get one back. Now a 1-1 game as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Back here for the bottom of the 4th inning, and Caden Haywood to lead things off for the Copperheads. Now find themselves in a 1-1 game as Sawyer Smith back out for his 4th inning, working around 2 extra base hits and a nice play from center to home to get Isaac Armstrong sliding for that big second out. Kept things scoreless. Now with some run support, it's a new game here in game 1 of this doubleheader, and catches the outside corner with that pitch. As we said, Caden Haywood been pretty effective in his limited plate appearances so far this season. The freshman from Harrisburg, North Carolina, one of many players attending Western Carolina University in the league. Got a hit in his first 4 games of the season before a hitless performance in his last time out against the Disco Turkeys, facing off against some of the best pitchers in the league up there in Winston-Salem. He'll look to get back on track here, though. Flied out his first time up and ahead 3-1 here to the pitcher Smith. Hitters count, and it is ball 4, so Caden Haywood aboard with a leadoff walk to bring up Connor Welker.
Now batting number 2, Connor Welker.
Welker also walked his first time up. Looking to get the Copperheads back ahead in this one. 3 hits on the season for the Copperheads. Center fielder takes a first pitch outside from Sawyer Smith, who really didn't have to deal with a lot of base traffic his last start, but has done a good job here to adjust and work around some of it. Has another runner on here to lead off this 4th inning. And he's been using that slider to great effect, catching the outside corner of the plate very consistently here.
Yeah, most definitely has been his money pitch so far tonight on the bump, and the Copperheads haven't found an answer for it yet. Mostly teeing off on just the fastballs from Smith tonight.
Now Smith's 1-1. Another good pitch. Up and away, catching that corner of the strike zone. Freezes Welker twice, and now the 1-2. As the Copperheads look to put it in play here. The pitch from Smith. Looks like he did go around, says the infield umpire. So Connor Welker retired on yet another pitch that looked to be a good pitch to hit maybe, but has the dive to get in the dirt.
And I mean, that's a tough slider to hit. I mean, it looks like a fastball halfway there and then just dips off the plate from Smith. As obviously a strikeout pitcher, had the double-digit Ks against the Corn Dogs, and then maybe on pace tonight for another double-digit K outing.
It's now Lazaro Santos, who drove in the first run of the game, but it will not matter, as he won't have anyone on base now. A pickoff move by Sawyer Smith in time to get Caden Haywood for the second out.
Get some sleeping over there at first base.
And a shame for Santos, who had a chance to potentially drive in another run, had an RBI double his last time up to score the first run of the game for the Copperheads. Now we'll bat with nobody on and 2 out. As we saw Santos pick up hit number 4 and RBI number 2, hit number 5, pardon, as he gets ahead 2-0 here. And has worked into the season pretty nicely. Had a 3-game hitting streak going now, dating back to last Friday's game against the Owls. 2-0 in the dirt here from Sawyer Smith. So Santos 1 ball away here from reaching base in his first 2 plate appearances of the night. Is the freshman who we've seen play some catcher, but he's mostly been a full-time extra hitter here for this Copperheads team towards the bottom part of the lineup. But making an impact here, ahead 3-0. Smith's pitch is inside, and he does walk. So despite no one being on after the pickoff, he does find a way to get aboard and keeps the inning alive for Cody Spillman.
I mean, pretty easy AB right there from Santos. 4 pitches and keeps the bat on his shoulder all 4. Take your base, and that brings up the 10-hole Spillman.
The very definition of plate discipline from Lazaro Santos is now Cody Spillman up for the Copperheads, batting 10th. Will be a question if he went around, but the home plate umpire calls strike one regardless. Spillman walked his first time up. As we mentioned before on the broadcast, a great story as well. The fact that he was out for so much of his high school career with a broken neck, suffered in a swimming accident, and came back and now playing college baseball for Lewisburg College. It has been a nice piece for this team so far this season. Here in a 1-1. That one lands in there for strike two.
And catching depth is ever so pivotal in summer baseball, especially when you see Brock Donnelly go down with an early season injury, who was one of those 3 catchers they had on the roster.
Has featured sparingly since, as Spillman does go around on that pitch, and that is strike 3. Copperheads unable to capitalize on 2 walks here, and that's the end of 4 here in game 1 of this doubleheader. Still a 1-1 game when we come back. Back for the top of this 5th inning. The Wampus Cats get back to work after tying the game in the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Jackson Deal, Luke Chantry, and Ick Serino, the 3 outfielders, due up the 9-10 one-hitters in this Wampus Cats lineup. First pitch on the way is low from Josh Jones, who's been a great starter so far today for this team. Looking to continue his great work out of the bullpen. 2 pitches outside so far here to Jackson Deal, the right fielder, who we saw make a pretty spectacular catch out there in right field.
I mean, shut off the glove and made that play in shallow right earlier, and now trying to show off the bat.
Ahead 2-0 here, a good chance to do so, and keeps it on the shoulder for the 3rd straight pitch. A 3-0 count now to Jackson Deal, the right fielder. Takes a strike in there, so the count will move to 3-1. Now a chance to Deal to potentially put a swing on this ball. Hitter's count pitch. He does put a swing on it towards the shortstop, Gray. The throw is high. Got Ayler just off the bag at first base. A nice play by Gray to keep it in the infield, but not able to get the speedy deal in time. It's an infield single.
Yeah, not a bad play right there by Gray. Just kind of the throw let him down. Leadoff batter on, and we do see some activity in that Lake Norman bullpen, so something to watch out for, especially with kind of the fatigue we're seeing from Jones early here in the inning.
Wampus Cats did get the first 3 batters on in the last inning, and now the first runner aboard here in this 5th inning. It'll bring up Luke Chantry, who lined out his first time up. The sophomore from Cleveland Community College. And there's another pickoff. This time the Wampus Cats the victim of that one. Josh Jones times it perfectly. And that means Jackson Deal will now be out. So that single eliminated on the base paths. Two players now we've seen getting caught sleeping a little bit on that first base bag. Now this 1-0 swung on towards the left field corner. It is down for a base hit. And motoring around first into second is Chantry. And if not for that pickoff, that may have been the lead run for the Wampus Cats. Instead, it's a 1-out double for Luke Chantry to bring up Ixarino and the top of the Wampus Cats lineup.
I mean, that makes it sting a little bit more. I mean, you get picked off. I mean, normally you don't see 1 pickoff in a game, not make it 2. And then the stand-up double and the lead-off guy with Ixarino now coming on for Uwharrie, as runs have been hard to come by for both sides tonight, and that one's going to hurt, especially if they don't get that go-ahead run on second base in.
Now Sereno will look to capitalize here. First pitch inside from Josh Jones. Sereno 2 flyouts, his first 2 at-bats tonight. But a big chance here with the runner in scoring position and still just 1 out, lined right at the third baseman Armstrong, and he doubles him off at second. Luis Morales there on the bag, and the Copperheads getting a little lucky there potentially with some of the balls and the places they're hit, but taking advantage of it too. Isaac Armstrong in perfect position to make the line-out play, and Luis Morales ready at second. A double play there, along with the pickoff, means they get out of it scoreless in this top of the 5th inning, and still a 1-1 ball game. Back for the bottom of the 5th inning and back to the Copperheads top of the lineup as Luis Morales, Parker Staworski, and Isaac Armstrong due up for each of their 3rd at-bats. This time around, Luis Morales, a walk and a hit by pitch, has reached base twice today, neither on a hit, and head 1-0. This one lined right at the second baseman, Aiden Wilson, who makes the catch. The first barrel we've seen from Luis Morales today, but it goes unrewarded. Wilson in perfect position.
I mean, right at the second baseman. Unfortunate from Morales, put some good run on that ball, but nonetheless, that's the first out of the inning.
So now Parker Staworski 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout, looking for his 2nd hit of the season. made his first appearance, as we mentioned, this season for the Copperheads, a little bit into the season. Debuted on June 10th. Has appeared in 4 games thus far for this Copperheads team, making appearance number 5. 1 hit on the season so far. Came against the Disco Turkeys in game 1 of that doubleheader. Next pitch on the way is low. Was behind 0-2 to Sawyer Smith, and as we've seen, both pitchers have done a good job at keeping guys from just scoring any way that they've been able to find. Now the 1-2 on the ground, and stopped by the shortstop, but the throw will not be in time. Fulcher keeps it in the infield, but Parker Staborski beats out the throw, and there is hit number 2 on the season for the left fielder to bring up Isaac Armstrong, who led off with a leadoff double, nearly scored the go-ahead run, but instead was tagged out at home. So now looking to maybe avenge that a little bit in this particular at-bat.
Yeah, I mean, Armstrong right now, a guy that's fighting for a home next season, went to ECU last season in his freshman campaign, ended up redshirting, and right now in the transfer portal. As I feel like that adds just another layer to summer ball, you know, kind of the new era of the transfer portals. A lot of these guys kind of in previous years were just looking to get better and still are now, but guys looking for a place to play JUCO, you know, D1, D2, wherever that may be, and trying to get to a lot of college scouts.
0-1 fouled off a mile high. As Armstrong has done a good job, I think, so far, just to displaying the scouts the kind of tools that he has. Just picked up his 6th extra base hit of the season. Pretty difficult to do that against a wide range of great SCBL pitchers. But behind 0-2 here to Sawyer Smith, 1 on, 1 out, and that one on the outside corner for strike 3. Sawyer Smith using that outside corner consistently to get these batters looking. Already the 3rd batter he's retired looking, and the 2nd time he's retired Armstrong looking. To bring up Cale Ayler, 2 strikeouts so far.
Yeah, I mean, Smith has just been pounding that outside part of the plate, especially for righties. And we already saw one time tonight from Smith going in on the hands on Ayler for his first strikeout.
And we'll see if Staborski potentially steals here, as the Copperheads looking for that all-important base hit that could score the 2nd run of the inning. We'll see if Ayler can provide it, as that one's popped foul. As you get the feeling that maybe the next run wins this game here.
I mean, very possible. You know, it'll be interesting to see kind of what bullpen arms both of these teams go with, or they just try to stick with their starter.
It is a short 7-inning game, given it is a doubleheader, so we'll see if Staborski goes. He does. This one rocketed towards right field, into the right center field gap. Coming over and making the catch is Sereno, and that will retire the side. A good swing by Cale Ayler, but it goes unrewarded to the deepest part of the park. Sawyer Smith out of the jam and out of the 5th inning. It'll be 1-1 when we head to the top of the 6th when we return. back for the top of the 6th inning,
Now batting.
and
Number
Josh
30,
Jones
Brendan Fulcher.
will stay out as the Copperheads looking to use as few bullpen arms maybe as you can in this doubleheader. A game that has really been decided by a matter of inches so far, as both teams having a chance to have potentially scored the go-ahead run. Wampus Cats had a runner in Jackson Deal picked off last inning before a double potentially may have scored him, as this one's popped, grounded right to Jones, and a good throw right in time. And that means Brendan Fulcher, the leadoff batter, is retired here in the top of the 6th to bring up Taj Bates.
Now batting. Number 35, Taj Bates.
As Bates, the only batter for the Wampus Cats so far to reach base in both of his at-bats coming into his 3rd. Walked his first 2 times up. As we've seen, has the power. Hit a foul home run last inning down the left field line. Got a hold of that ball, but just a little bit too early on it.
As I mean, Jones going late into this game is so critical for Lake Norman, already with kind of lacking with the pitching depth, and now playing your second doubleheader in the span of 3 nights. 4 games in 3 days, that will be tough on any team. And when you have a starter that can go deep into the game, that really, sets up a lot of different things, not only for this game, but going to the second leg of the doubleheader later tonight.
As Bates ahead 2-0 here against Josh Jones. Led things off in that 4th inning with a walk that scored the only run of the game, as Bates tagged up on the sac fly from Reese Crump. Looking to get a similar rally going here in the top of the 6th. Two-one on the way from Jones is low. Now a hitter's count for the DH Bates. Nick Morris due up next. Picked up a single in his last at-bat, as this one is swung on but fouled out of play by Bates. Currently playing Division I baseball at Southern U down in Baton Rouge. Certainly showing why he has the skills to play D1 ball a little bit earlier. The plate discipline and the power evident here so far. A chance to get on base for the 3rd time as he faces Josh Jones in a full count and 1 away here in the top of the 6th. Payoff pitch is high, and it's 3 walks out of 3 for Taj Bates. 1 man on and 1 out here for Morris.
Nick Morris.
And I mean, Bates obviously a guy that Jones is aware of at the dish, and reached base safely for the 3rd time tonight. As we haven't seen that a lot of times from Jones. Besides the at-bats he's had against Bates, is he hasn't had too much of a problem with walking batters.
Now the first pitch to Morris is low. And you wonder at what point, if any point, do the Copperheads look to their bullpen. Jones has been excellent. 5 1/3 innings, just the 1 run given up so far. But this one driven into the gap in right center field. It will get down all the way to the wall. Taj Bates heading for 3rd. He will come home. Stopping at 2nd is Morris. The throw is bobbled. And Taj Bates comes all the way around for the leading run. An RBI double for Nick Morris gives the Wampus Cats a 2-1 lead here in the 6th.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Bates saw that ball in the gap, he said it's go time. The helmet was flying off. He was rounding 2nd, rounding 3rd. And we mentioned earlier the next run of the game might be the decisive one, as Bates with the hustle. Wampus Cats up 1 now, and with a mound visit. As before that double right there, I was going to mention it's a fine line you have to walk for the Copperheads. You don't want to put Jones too late until this game gets out of hand. You can't come back, but you also want to push him as long as possible, as that might be the end of Jones's evening right there.
Yeah, it looks like that will be the time for Josh Jones, who was excellent as a starter tonight, kept it close. We'll see if the Copperheads can keep it close when the new pitcher comes in when we come back. back after the pitching change. It'll be Connor Paul out of the bullpen for the Copperheads, looking to get the final 2 outs of this 6th inning. The Wampus Cats taking a 2-1 lead after an RBI double by Nick Morris, who now stands on second as this one fouled back to the screen by the EH Bryson Beber. 1 for 2 on the day with a single and a pop out. The Wampus Cats a chance to potentially break this game open in the top of the 6th. Josh Jones exits after 5 1/3 innings, responsible for the runner on first. As he breaks for third, does Morris. The throw down from Spillman is past the third baseman Armstrong, and here comes Nick Morris. He will score on the pass ball. It's a 3rd run of the game for the Wampus Cats on a steal. And now a 3-1 lead for Uwharrie. And just another rudimentary error there costs the Copperheads.
Yeah, I mean, Paul already stepping into a tough situation, and then the runner steals and takes third and then takes home in the process, as Copperheads bats are not going to have to show up in the later stages of this game, Gunner.
Yeah, as now that'll finish the stat line for Josh Jones, who gives up 3 runs over 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 walks, all to Taj Bates, and 2 strikeouts. Wampus Cats had put the ball in play consistently, hadn't found the gaps until this 6th inning, and now we're doing a great job as that'll be on the outside corner from Paul. Evens the count up at 3-2 for Beber, looking for his 2nd hit on the night. Paul's payoff pitch is outside, ball 4. So Beber aboard with a 1-out walk to bring up Aiden Wilson, 1 for 2 with a single and a pop out today. Now Wilson a chance to extend the inning against the lefty Paul. First pitch is low, and we've seen Connor Paul make quite a few appearances on the bump here for this team. Another one of those players we mentioned that is a 2-way player. Currently playing at Volunteer State Community College is the Brentwood, Tennessee native. One count here to Aiden Wilson. Catches the outside corner with a beautiful off speed there. Pitchers all day been attacking that away side of the plate and the inside of the plate to lefties, outside to righties, as this one swung on and down for a base hit. Welker will corral it up and throwing to third, but it'll hit the cutoff man instead. It goes to Armstrong, and both runners safe. Runners at the corners now with 1 away here in the top of the 6th. Brings up Reese Crump. Now the 4th straight batter to reach base for this Wampus Cats team.
I mean, the Wampus Cats are turning it on late here, as it was a pitcher's duel early on, and now we see in the later stages them starting to pull away.
First pitch on the way to Crump. Catches the inside corner for a strike. A beautiful fastball there from Paul, who's looking to keep the score at 3-1. Give the Copperheads a chance to make a comeback here in the final 2 innings. 0-1 skips behind Spillman, and here comes the runner. Scoring will be Bryson Beber. And now a 4-1 game, the 2nd pitch that gets away. Scores a 2nd runner, and the 2nd straight now makes it a 3-run game. As Wilson advances to 2nd, still just 1 away here in the top of this 4th inning. We'll see if Paul can rebound here. Doesn't get the strike call there against Crump. But a real shame for this Copperheads team. Those 2 balls really costly in this chance to come back in this later part of the game.
I mean, makes it really tough for them, as you know, this game was staying close here, and the Wampus Cats slowly pulling away. As if not for a late cardiac Copperheads rally late on in this game, it's going to be a loss in the first leg of the doubleheader.
As we've seen the ability for these Wampus Cats hitters to put the ball in play, but it has just all come together in the top of this 6th inning. 3 runs across already and threatening for a 4th as Crump in a full count against Paul. Payoff pitch from the lefty is way outside. He lost him. And Crump aboard with the walk. Kip Thornton up next. The third baseman with a single and a pop out on the day. Comes in with 2 on and still just 1 out. As we saw Connor Paul maybe lose a little control of that 3-2. This one driven in the air towards center field. Welker camps under it and not tagging will be Aiden Wilson, and a nice throw there to third base to keep him in check. 2 down now for the Wampus Cats as Jackson Deal, who did single his last time up before being picked off at first base, a chance to avenge that with a potential base hit and maybe a run scored too if he can find the right spot.
Yeah, I mean, kind of what you were alluding to earlier is that balls put in play by the Wampus Cats, and that's really been the deciding factor late in this game. Wampus Cats have been putting balls in play all night long, but especially in this inning, we've seen those balls get down and them just continuing to rake here.
As maybe their dugout thought it was only a matter of time before those hits started to pile into runs, and they've all come at once here in this top of the 6th inning. And, of course, with the doubleheader, you only need 6 more outs in this first game to get the first win. As the 1-0 on the way, a swing and a miss from Jackson Deal. Wilson at second, Crump at first. As Paul will check back to second before the next pitch on the ground. Glove by Morales, the flip to first in time, and that will retire the side. But the Wampus Cats get 3 in the top of the 6th inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th to see if the Copperheads can get some runs back here. Now a 4-1 lead for Uwharrie. Back here for the bottom of the 6th inning, and after 3 runs in the top of the 6th for the Wampus Cats, the Copperheads looking to get back in this one. It'll start with the DH Jones. Chased from the game after a pretty great start. Limited the barrels from those Wampus Cats hitters, but they finally strung together some hits as this one's in the air. Into the outfield, but caught by Chantry. And it's 1 pitch, 1 out for Josh Jones. Now that'll bring up Will Gray, the shortstop. That's another ball we've seen in play from the Copperheads, just not really find the correct area they're maybe looking for. Hits have come, but not in a row maybe like they're hoping for. As Gray, the shortstop, 0 for 2 on the day with a fielding error, reached on, and a strikeout.
And, I mean, you can allude to Gray's first at-bat as these balls that are hit really hard. I mean, he ended up getting on base, but a hard-hit ball to the shortstop. And we've seen a lot of times tonight just the Copperheads haven't been able to find those holes and gaps in the outfield.
This one driven, though, into center field, but caught. Another nice play by Sereno. To a knee, but still makes the play. And maybe 2 times now, Will Gray could have had a hit if it went to maybe a slightly better spot. Put a good swing on it, but just right at Sereno, who makes a nice play.
Yeah, not only have we seen these hard-hit balls right at these Wampus Cats fielders, they made great plays. I mean, we saw a deal in right field earlier on a diving catch, and then right there, a tough play from Sereno in center.
As this one fanned on by Caden Haywood, 0 for 1 of the day, as the right fielder for the Copperheads. Next one on the way, back foul against the Bricks behind home plate. And since giving up that run, Sawyer Smith has been excellent on the mound.
And I mean, I feel like the MVP of today's game has been Sawyer Smith's slider. I mean, it has had some nasty whip on it, and those Copperheads batters are still trying to catch up to it.
Already 8 strikeouts for the right-hander. And that one just low. Sawyer Smith has rebounded from giving up his first earned run, which came on the Lazaro Santos double. But his defense has done some good work as this one's lined, and that will fall for a base hit. Caden Haywood does have his first hit of the game. Comes on a single to center, and now Connor Welker looks to keep the inning alive.
Now batting number 2, Connor.
Kind of interesting right there from Smith, and we see Haywood fan on the first 2 pitches of the at-bat, both being sliders, then double up on the fastball. Haywood reaches safely on a single as Copperheads trying to keep that momentum going.
Welker 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Swings at that first pitch and fouls it off. We'll see if the Cox Mill High School product has any advantage in this situation. Could potentially extend the inning here against Sawyer Smith, who has used that kind of slider. Great horizontal movement on it, and has particularly been good at getting players looking on the outside part of the plate to righties. Now the 1-1 on the way, a swing and a miss. Looks like he may have gone back to it there, put it low enough to where Welker couldn't get a piece of it. And his limited contact, only 2 doubles on the day. The 1-2 on the way, a swing and a miss, and he got him. And that will be the end of the 6th inning. Connor Welker down on strikes. And now 9 for the game for Sawyer Smith, who keeps it a 4-1 Wampus Cats lead when we come back. The final frame of Game 1 of this doubleheader on the way. only one of. Back here for the final frame of this game, the Wampus Cats still holding a 4-1 lead. Connor Paul back out for the 7th inning, after coming in relief of Josh Jones in the 6th. As Luke Chantry 1 for 2 with a double. Was on base with 2 outs back in the 5th, but was doubled off first base after a nice play by Isaac Armstrong. Left him doubled off second base on the infield. So now we'll look to get things started in the 7th. But behind 1-2 here at Connor Paul in a lefty-lefty matchup. The pitch on the way, a swing and a miss. A dirty slider. Great action on that one. Dove into the dirt. And that is strike 3, and a good first retirement here for Connor Paul in the 7th against Chantry.
Yeah, I mean, that's, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful pitches to watch is a nasty slider from a lefty on the bump, just going away from the lefty-on-lefty matchup, and first out of the top half of the 7th here.
Now Ixarino up for the 4th time today, puts a swing on this ball, drives it to left field, but right at Parker Staborski. That is now Brendan Fulcher will come up. Serino's put the ball in play all 4 times today. Got a little unlucky on that last one. Lined it right at Isaac Armstrong for that line out that turned into a double play, and now a fly out that could have potentially been into the gap. But unfortunately, Staborski has room to make the catch. Now Brendan Fulcher 0 for 3 on the day. A fly out, a strikeout, and a ground out. First pitch on the way from Paul. Goes to the breaking ball there, but just a little bit low. Now the 1-0 from the lefty, also low. Looks like he's trying to get these hitters to chase a little bit down in the zone. Wampus Cats have done a good job at laying off those pitches and instead hunting the balls up in the zone, in contrast to Josh Jones, who was missing maybe a little bit up more than Connor Paul, who just missed up himself. Now a 3-0 count, 2 down here in the top of the 7th. Wampus Cats holding a 4-1 lead, looking to close out this game as this one swung on in a 3-0. Sent to center field. Welker will camp under it. He makes the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning keeps it a 3-run game for this Copperheads team. Last call for Lake Norman when we come back. Still a 4-1 Wampus Cats lead. Back for the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Wampus Cats looking for the final 3 outs of this one. Sawyer Smith looking to finish off a 7-inning complete game. And game 1 of the doubleheader has been excellent so far this game. As the first pitch on the way to Santos, grounds it to third, up and firing in time is Thornton. And a nice play at the hot corner for out number 1, Lazaro Santos, who's had the only RBI of the game for this Copperheads team. A bit unlucky on that one. But right at the third baseman, Kip Thornton, who's up firing.
And I mean, Santos, one of the only guys that we've seen, good offensive production tonight from the Copperheads, has kind of a tale that we saw earlier in the two games of the doubleheader against the Disco Turkeys and now against the Wampus Cats.
This one on the ground to second. And another ground out, this time to Aiden Wilson. 2 pitches, 2 quick outs here for Sawyer Smith, now just 1 out away from pitching a 7-inning complete game, allowing just 1 run. What a performance it's been from him today. Followed up such an impressive performance against the Corn Dogs with limited base traffic, with a little more base traffic this time around. In particular, 6 walks, a stark contrast to what he had allowed in his first start, but has worked around them, especially with 9 strikeouts on the day. And quickly ahead, 0-2 here to Luis Morales, 0 for 1 on the day. A hit by pitch, a walk, and a line out. Morales looking to keep the game alive here. 0-2 from Smith is high, and a nice catch there by Crump behind the dish to keep it in front of him. Staworski would be due up next if Morales can get on base here, as Smith will take some time. Ready with the 1-2 is Smith. A swing and a miss, and that is your ball game. A 4-1 win in game 1 of the doubleheader for the Wampus Cats. And Sawyer Smith, the hero of that one, gets his 10th strikeout on the final pitch of the game. And despite 6 walks and 5 hits for the Copperheads, Smith gets the outs when it counts for the game 1 win.
And I mean, Smith with the SCBL Pitcher of the Week last week and making a very good bid to be the Pitcher of the Week for Week 3. I mean, 10 Ks, only allowing 1 run. And the Wampus Cats maybe didn't get the bats going until late, but the win is all that matters, and start the first leg of the doubleheader out good.
And more importantly for this game, too, maybe the Wampus Cats a little bit more pitching depth as well. With Sawyer Smith's complete game, they now have some breathing room in the pen. And now just 1 earned run over the first 14 innings of Sawyer Smith's SCBL season here in 2024. We'll be back shortly with Game 2 of the doubleheader in about 30 minutes or so. Until then, we will be taking a short break. But thank you for tuning in to Game 1. The Wampus Cats victorious 4-1 in this one. We'll see if the Copperheads can even up the doubleheader when we return for the night.